Imagine waking up not to an alarm, but to the very real possibility that you might not eat today, or worse, be eaten. That was life 3 million years ago. We're going way, way back in time, to a world that's both alien and strangely familiar. We're talking about a time before fire was tamed, before wheels were dreamt of, and long before the first selfie. We're stepping into the dusty, dangerous shoes of a prehistoric family, a group of early human ancestors just trying to get by. What if every single meal required a life or death decision? This isn't just a history lesson, it's the ultimate survival story, showing us the incredible ingenuity and resilience that literally carved out our existence. Stick around, because you're about to see how our earliest relatives grappled with the most fundamental question. What's for dinner? Picture this. The sun's barely peeking over the horizon, casting long, spooky shadows across the East African savanna. It's cool, but that won't last. In a small, rocky overhang, a family of Australopithecus afarensis stirs. We're talking about creatures like Lucy, upright, bipedal, but with brains only about a third the size of ours. Their first thought isn't about Instagram, it's about hunger. Always hunger. The mother, let's call her Kaya, nudges her young. They're lean, strong, and constantly on edge. Every day is a food quest. There's no fridge, no pantry, no grocery store. Just a vast, wild landscape, teeming with both resources and threats. They can't run as fast as a gazelle, nor are they as powerfully built as a lion. Their advantage, their brains, slowly but surely, are getting smarter. And their ability to walk upright means they can spot things over tall grass and carry more. They're mostly gatherers. This means spending hours, sometimes entire days, scanning the ground, climbing trees, and digging. They're looking for anything edible, juicy berries, fibrous roots, seeds, nuts, even insects like termites or beetle larvae. Think of it like a never-ending, high-stakes treasure hunt, where the treasure literally keeps you alive. Every single calorie counts, every discovered patch of wild figs is a small victory. But these small victories are never guaranteed. To survive, these early humans had to be incredible naturalists. They knew which plants were safe to eat and which were poisonous. They could read the subtle signs of the savanna. The flight path of a bird might lead to a fruiting tree. The disturbed earth could indicate a hidden root vegetable, or, more ominously, a recent kill by a large predator. And that last one, that's where things get really interesting and really dangerous. Their diet was incredibly varied, driven purely by what was available and safe. Imagine chewing tough roots or crunchy insects for a significant portion of your day. It wasn't gourmet, but it was sustenance. They probably weren't using sophisticated tools for foraging yet. Mostly just their hands, maybe a sharp rock to crack open a nut, or a sturdy stick to dig for tubers. Every day was a masterclass in improvisation, a testament to pure, raw resourcefulness. But while they were focused on a bush laden with berries, their peripheral vision was always active. Was that a shadow moving in the distance? Was the air too still? Every rustle, every snap of a twig could signal a hidden danger. A leopard, a pack of hyenas, or even a rival group of early hominins. Hunger drove them out, but fear kept them vigilant. While plants were the staple, meat offered a powerful, nutrient-dense boost. But hunting large game was largely out of their league. They didn't have spears or bows and arrows. So, how did they get protein? They scavenged. And scavenging meant facing down some of the most fearsome predators on the planet. Imagine, a pride of lions has just finished feasting on a zebra. What's left behind is a messy, bloody carcass, still tempting, still packed with calories. Now, picture Kaya and her family, cautiously approaching. They're not brave in the modern sense, they're desperate. They're looking for the opportune moment, a small window of time between the lions leaving and the hyenas moving in. It's a literal race against nature's cleanup crew, with incredibly high stakes. They'd grab what they could, scraps of muscle, maybe even break open bones for marrow, a fatty, energy-rich prize that other scavengers often overlooked. This wasn't a clean process. It was messy, terrifying, and absolutely crucial for survival. Those calories from meat and marrow provided the energy for their developing brains, pushing them slowly, incrementally, towards greater intelligence and, eventually, tool use. This constant push and pull with the food chain was a relentless pressure cooker, shaping what we would eventually become. Survival wasn't a solo act for Kaya and her family. They lived in small groups, probably a handful of adults and their offspring. Why? Because there's safety in numbers and there's efficiency in cooperation. Imagine trying to fend off a predator alone, or trying to dig up enough roots for an entire family by yourself. It's a recipe for disaster. When one member found a particularly good foraging spot, or successfully managed to grab some meat scraps, it was likely shared. Not out of altruism in the way we understand it today, but out of pure, pragmatic necessity. A stronger group meant better chances of survival for everyone. A sick or injured member, if supported by the group, might recover and contribute again. This rudimentary sense of community, of looking out for each other, was a cornerstone of their survival strategy. Sharing food strengthened their social bonds, reducing internal conflict and allowing them to focus on external threats. It's a foundational element of what makes us human, our ability to cooperate on a grand scale. For Kaya's family, it meant the difference between a few more days of life and becoming another statistic in the brutal calculus of the prehistoric world. Every pair of eyes watching for predators, every extra hand helping to gather, every shared morsel of food, increased their collective odds as the sun begins its descent, painting the savanna in fiery oranges and deep purples. Kaya and her family make their way back to their rocky shelter. Bellies are fuller than they were this morning, but rarely completely satisfied. The day's bounty might be enough for a single night, perhaps even a morning, but the cycle of hunger will inevitably begin again. There are no guarantees. They huddle together, finding warmth and security in their numbers. The sounds of the night are different, more predatory, more unnerving. The roars of distant lions, the cackles of hyenas, the rustling in the tall grass. Every sound is a reminder of their place in the food chain. Sleep is a necessity, but it's never truly peaceful. Even in slumber, the primal fear of not having enough, of being enough, lingers. Their existence was a continuous, grueling marathon of finding food, avoiding predators, and somehow, against all odds, surviving long enough to pass on their genes. There was no leisure, no entertainment, no pursuit of comfort beyond the most basic needs, just the relentless, primal drive to live, to endure, to keep going for another day. And it's this raw, unfiltered struggle that ultimately shaped us, defining the very essence of what it means to be human. So, what have we learned about life 3 million years ago? It was a world dominated by the constant, overwhelming need for food, driven by foraging for plants and risky scavenging for meat. Survival wasn't a given, it was a daily battle fought with wits, cooperation, and an unwavering drive. Kaya and her family weren't just living, they were constantly adapting, innovating, and laying the groundwork for every generation that followed, including ours. What do you think was the most challenging part of their daily struggle? Getting enough to eat, or constantly avoiding predators? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're fascinated by the incredible journey of human evolution, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure into the past.